because I come from Chicago, we've seen a lot of death in the neighborhood. Okay. And a lot of times when other people in the neighborhood, when their child dies or, sister, brother, whatever passes away, they end up having, let's say they die on a Monday, they have a funeral on a Friday, they right back to work on Monday because, they don't have PTO, they don't have, there's only so much time they give you for bereavement and, stuff like that, because typically they didn't have life insurance or whatever, right? Well, my parents were a little different. I was able to take a bird's eye view of how they handled that situation. After, putting my brother in a drawer, okay, because he didn't go in the ground. They baby wasn't gonna go in the ground. Okay. He was going into a mausoleum. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I don't know if you've ever been to a cemetery where they got the thing in the middle and this it's like who's inside of there? Who's the people over there? Well,
They
I got to
money.
find out. Exactly. Exactly. I got to find out. So they they lift you up off the ground and you get slid into this drawer inside of this thing. So anyway, they went all out for dust. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But what ended up happening was that happened in February. They moved and bought a house in Las Vegas. My father didn't have to go right back to work because of the fact that they had the liberty to be able to just live and mourn, grieve the loss of their baby. You know what I'm saying? And it was just different. And so at that very moment, I was like, you know what? I need to get my stuff together. I need to get my stuff together because my parents did something that the average people don't do. And at that very moment, I was looking at my life. I had a child out of wedlock. Because remember, I told you when I was in college, I was like, I'll take one of them, I'll take one of them, ended up having a baby with one of them. Okay. And so
it happens.
Right. And so here I am. I'm working an average job, dating at best average men, you know what I'm saying? Living in an average crib. Like I didn't grow up average. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I said, okay, something got to change. Something got to change. And so I became in pursuit of becoming a gold digger for real. And I said, I need better for my life.
Hey, family, this is Che Willis coming back with another episode of Wealth is a Journey podcast. Guys, this is episode number 70. 70 weeks of consistency, 70 weeks of putting out good content. If you are new to this podcast, thank you so much for joining us. On this podcast, we talk about faith, family, and finances, among other things. If you're a return listener or watcher, thank you so much for coming back. Hopefully, we are adding value to your lives on our way to the M's. And we are definitely on our way to the M's. Guys, you are in for a special treat today. This person I have coming on to the show today, this has been a long time in the making. The people have been asking about this for a long time. And she was like, I'm gonna get on your little podcast later. But we got her on the show now. Shakey Webster is in the building. What's up?
What's going on? What's going on, Shay Willis? What's going on?
Let's go. Yeah, this one is gonna be one of them ones. I already know because if you guys don't know Aunty Shakey, this is my sister. And she is a part of the petty gang. Yeah. Huge, so petty. Like it's ridiculous. Like I never knew somebody as petty as I was until I met Shakey. So we are in for a treat today. But we want to try to play nice in the sandbox today. Okay.
Okay.
But thank you so much for joining us today. Shake, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself real quick, and then we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, so my name is Shakey Webster, affectionately known as Aunty Shakey, the financial matchmaker, and I help people find their perfect serve through stocks, insurance, and real estate, using the assets that they have to get the assets that they really, really want.
Let's go.
So that
Let's
is that.
go. This is my folks from the MMU from the morning meetup hosted by David Shands. And that's how we met. And we hosted calls together, go back and forth in the comments. She flamed me one time. This I will never forget this. So we had, and the good thing is you need people like this in your life to tell you that you may need to change some things. So I jump on a live with Elisa Applewhite, and I'm talking about what I do, helping people with their budgets and so forth and so on. And she takes it upon herself to jump on there and flame me
I did.
about my prices,
I did.
about my price. But again, I appreciate people like that because like anybody who can tell you, hey, you may need to change this here or there. Those are the people that you need in your life. Those are the people that you need in your corner, that see your blind spots and call you out on it. So
Mm.
I appreciate that.
Well, you are very welcome. You are very welcome.
We were joking before Shaky got on the Zoom, and I was like, I already knew that she was gonna be all glammed up and all dressed up and all that stuff. I feel like this is who you were growing up. So tell me, who was Shakey Webster growing up?
You know, that's so interesting. Who was I growing up? I was the chunky kid. Like I was the kid that people made fun of. I was overdeveloped as a child. So a lot of the girls were like, "Ooh, what?" Either they were jealous or they would just, call me fat, whatever the case may be. Really don't think it was a jealousy thing because it wasn't like I was like attractive or anything like that. But because I was so developed, the kids the boys in the yard would be like, let's play Tune in Tokyo. Now, have you ever heard of Tune
I
in
never
Tokyo?
heard of that.
Never heard of Tune in Tokyo.
No.
All right. So he- here's Tune in Tokyo. Okay. So they would be like, Shaky, Shaky, we got to tune in Tokyo. We got to tune in Tokyo with such urgency, right? Raise your hand, raise your hand. And then they'd be like, tune in Tokyo, tune in Tokyo.
Yo, that's crazy.
Look, first of all, first of all, your parents are going to hell. Because who taught you that? Who taught you that? But that is insane. But yes, that was like some of the things that would happen to me, and I would get jumped in the playground and stuff like that. It was just very, very weird because I always had a snappy mouth. Always had a snappy mouth. But as far as like my dress, my style, and stuff like that, I really didn't have much of anything. I really didn't. I was a nobody. I was a nobody. And so it wasn't until I got to college that I was like, hmm. I went to a HBCU. I went to Clark Atlanta. And I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago, and it was a very mixed community, mostly white people than it was black people. And then I got to HBCU, and I was like, "Ooh, ooh, we
Hmm.
come in all different shapes, sizes, and colors. I'll take some of that, some of that, just some of that." Uh, and so that kind of blossomed me into where we are today.
Wow. I was the same way. I was the chubby kid, and I was the one who would snap on other people. Like we would like that, and that's where I get my pettiness from, and I'm quick with it because that's how I grew up. I grew up in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. I went to Lower Marion High School with kind of an affluent area. That wasn't necessarily my story, but that's where I grew up around. And when I went to a HBCU too, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I can identify with what you said.
Yeah.
So Shaky, the morning meetup, you probably knew me uh kind of hanging in the shadows
Yeah.
before I kind of like jumped out and this is Che or whatever the case may be. And the morning meetup has changed my life. Like you have no idea. You probably do have an idea because you've probably
Mm-hmm.
seen the progression.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But who was Shaky before the morning meetup and who is Shakey Webster now? Or have you always been this?
Um, Before the morning meetup, I feel like I was less polished. I was less focused. So what I mean by that is this. I just knew how to work. I've always worked.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not afraid of working. And so, and I've always been very like hustle with it. Okay. Like I'm just gonna get it over here. I'm gonna get it over here. I'm gonna get it however I see it. Right. Um, However, with the morning meetup and then just being a part of mentorship altogether
Sure.
has really brought the package all together. It's
Mhm.
made me focus. It's made me package this thing that can be scalable. The financial matchmaker brand in and of itself now has a destination versus it being, all right, we wake up and we work. And we just working just to get another dollar versus we're working for legacy. We're
Yeah.
building something that is going to last from generation to generation. So that's what's the main thing that has been different prior to this.
That's awesome, man. I was scared, man. Scared, nervous, the judgment, talking, all the things. Like and the crazy part is I do sales for a living.
Mm,
But to talk to people that I don't know and just like what are they thinking about me? What are they and now I'm to the point where I don't care. Like
yeah,
people are gonna say what they're gonna say regardless of whatever you do, good or bad, they're gonna have an opinion.
yep.
And that's one of the things that helped me, and it's helping me now to be a speaker, to be able to get my thoughts out, to be able to get this message out of financial freedom, hope, and all the things. It's changed my life like crazy. Um, so the way I got to where I am today is I grew up. I didn't have a lot. I didn't grow up like super poverty, holes in the shoes, and all that stuff. Like, but I always wanted more, right?
Mhm.
And I believe that the trials and tribulations in life, although it's terrible when you're going through it, it makes you who you are. So my question to you is, what was the thing that catapulted you to where you are today? And take your time to answer because it looked like your wheels are spinning right now.
So what catapulted me to where I am today is my parents. So my parents, they've been married now for 53 years. Yes, they celebrated 53 years of marriage in April, right?
Mhm.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes, it
Um
is.
I pray that same blessing over my marriage and yours.
Thank you.
Because I'm sure that takes a lot of work.
It
It
does
takes a
a lot.
lot of work to get to that point. And so my father is such a hard worker. I'm a daddy's girl for sure. Okay. He's such a hard worker. And my mother, oh, bless her heart, she's such a hard spender.
Mm, mm.
She's
Okay.
such a hard spender.
Okay.
As quickly as he made it is as
Mhm.
quickly as she spent it. Okay. And so we lived very well. I don't have one of those stories where I got it out the mud. I don't. That's just not my story.
Sure.
I can't relate. So I don't try to relate,
Sure.
because I believe that there's a lot of people in our culture that has the same story as me that can relate to where I am. And it's like, dang, two-parent household in the house, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Raise your
Yes.
hand
And if
because
we're if we're honest, Shaky, like people would make fun of people because they talked a certain way. But as they grow up, you want to be that person that you made fun of as a kid. So having a two-parent household, so I get where you're going. So continue. I wanted to interject there. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Good.
Exactly. And here's the crazy part is that if you do it right, your kids should never have the story of getting it out the mud.
Facts. That's a fact. That's a fact.
So it's really interesting when and I know I'm going off topic a little bit because I did this I know I came and spoke in somebody's group one time, and they said, you know, when you tell your story, you make it sound like you're better than everybody else. Half of these people in here, you know, they've never done this or they've never done that, and you know, whatever. And I'm like thinking to myself, so do you want me to bring myself down to their level, create a story that makes me relatable for the people that you think are inside of here?
Mm-mm.
I won't do it.
Mm-mm.
Because if nothing else, I want to be an example to you to show you that there are Black families
Yeah.
that stay together.
Yes.
I am a testament. Me and my husband, we have been married for 20 years.
Let's go.
So I mean, this cycle or this thought that, you know, Black families are all broken, bro, that's a lie. I'm here to tell you that. And we're not
Yeah.
all getting it out the mud.
Yeah.
And so anyway, let me go back. I just really had to say, I feel like there's somebody that's watching that's gonna be like, I needed that.
Yeah.
So but anyway, to go back to I saw my mother spending so much, like so much. And I didn't want to be that.
Okay.
I didn't want to be that at all.
Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Are you tired of using your credit cards as an emergency fund? Are you tired of getting stressed out anytime you think about money? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, I'm here to help. My name is Che Willis, and I help families living paycheck to paycheck live the life that they want to live through budgeting and investing. And I understand the word budgeting may be scary. However, we're trying to take the fear out of that word. All we're doing is telling our money where to go, as well as reducing our expenses and taking that money, marching it into the marketplace, and making us some money babies. That's all we're doing. So if you need help, please go to wealthisajourney.com. Again, wealthisajourney.com. There are free resources on there for budgeting tools. There are digital products on there to help you on your investing journey. And there's one-on-one coaching. So if you need help, go to wealthisajourney.com today. I look forward to seeing you soon.
And so one of the pivotal moments though was this. My mother met this woman in the grocery store. And inside the grocery store, this lady said, hey, whatever pitch she gave to her, my mother ended up inviting the lady to come to the house, okay, to do whatever presentation she was going to do for her.
Mm-hmm.
And so she does this presentation. And at the end of the day, she ends up getting life insurance on each one of us. Okay. So it's me and my brother. I do have two half sisters that my father had before marrying my mother. But it's just me and my brother for the most part. Okay. So each one of us got a policy. Well, my mother had to cash that policy in a year later on my brother
Oh,
because he was shot and killed in an alley. Okay.
wow.
Um,
Sorry to hear that.
right before his 21st birthday. So so anyway, what that showed me was something powerful. It showed me this. Because I come from Chicago, we've seen a lot of death in the neighborhood. Okay. And a lot of times when other people in the neighborhood, when their child dies or, you know, sister, brother, whatever passes away, they end up having, let's say they die on a Monday, they have a funeral on a Friday, they right back to work on Monday because, you know, they don't have PTO, you know, there's only so much time they give you for bereavement and, you know, stuff like that, because typically they didn't have life insurance or whatever, right? Well, my parents were a little different. I was able to take a bird's eye view of how they how they handled that situation. After, putting my brother in a drawer, okay, because he didn't go in the ground. They baby wasn't gonna go in the ground. Okay.
Mm.
He was going into a mausoleum. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've ever been to a cemetery where they got the thing in the
Yep.
middle, and it's like who's inside of there? Who's the people over there? Well, I
They
got
got
to find
money,
out.
money.
Exactly. Exactly. I got to find out. So they lift you up off the ground, and you get slid into this drawer inside of this thing. So anyway, they went all out. Um, for dust. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But what ended up happening was that happened in February. They moved and bought a house in Las Vegas. My father didn't have to go right back to work because of the fact that they had the liberty to be able to just live and mourn,
Hmm.
grieve the loss of their baby. You know what I'm saying? And it was
Yeah.
just different. And so at that very moment, I was like, you know what? I need to get my stuff together. I need to get my stuff together because my parents did something that the average people don't do. And at that very moment, I was looking at my life. I had a child out of wedlock. Because remember, I told you when I was in college, I was like, I'll take one of them, I'll take one of
Hmm.
them, ended up having a baby with one of them.
Okay.
And so
It happens.
right. And so and so here I am. Um, I'm working an average job, uh, dating at best average men, you know what I'm saying, living in an average crib. Like I didn't grow up average.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, something gotta change. Something gotta change. And so I became in pursuit of becoming a gold digger for real. And I said, I need better for my life. And so in order for me to find my perfect sir, because you hear me tell you
Hmm.
all the time that I found my perfect sir, that's when I started in pursuit of my perfect sir. And so in order for me to get my perfect sir, I knew that I had to do something different. I had to show up different.
Yeah.
I had to start reading. I had to start moving differently.
Yeah.
I had to start taking better care of my money,
Yeah.
budgeting, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All so that when the perfect sir comes along, I could be ready. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's what changed in my life. It was that. It was
Yeah.
that.
So tell me a little bit more about this gold digger, because I remember watching a podcast episode you did probably about a year ago now, I think it was, or maybe longer than that. And you brought that up, and I'm like, if I ever have a conversation with her, I need to know a little bit more about that. Please tell me more about that.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be completely
keep
honest
it
with you.
real.
We're all digging for something.
Facts.
All of us,
Yeah.
whether we do it intentionally or unintentionally, we all end up digging for something or ending up with something. Okay.
Hmm.
So you travel a lot, you're well traveled, you and your wife.
Hmm.
Um, have you ever just walked down the street, maybe walked down the beach, and you ended up with something in your shoe? Like a
For
pebble
sure.
in your shoe?
For sure.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people had kids with them pebbles. Okay. Um, okay. Like did you get there? How did you
Uh,
get in there?
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
literally, how did you get here? So that's one. Okay,
Hmm.
that's a pebble. And then you have other people that dig for clay, somebody that they can mold and shape.
Yep.
Okay, you literally trying to get them to be. That's you kind of going after potential. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Oh, there's some potential right there. I used to do that a lot when I was in high school. My mother used to always say, "Why you always dating these Nick? These you?" I don't
Ninjas.
know if I can say the word.
These
Ninjas,
ninjas.
ninjas, right? Why you keep dating these ninjas from the project? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I'm like, because mom, if I just show them better, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
If I just show them, they'll be better. That's me trying to mold and shape them, thinking that they're going to be different than who they are. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have those of us that dig for gold. We're digging for what's rare. We're digging for something that it's already there. It just needs to be dusted off a little bit. It
Yeah.
just needs to be shined up. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And so I don't need to mold you. I don't need to shape you. One of the things I said to my husband was this. I said, listen, I'm not a kingmaker. That's
Mm.
not what I am. You already came to me as a king.
Yeah.
So I'm not making you into one. And so I hung that hat up. There used to be a whole campaign on that too, like, oh, kingmaker, kingmaker. I ain't signing up for that newsletter because I have no desire. And so that's what my whole gold digging idea is about, is that we're all digging for something. And I want gold not only in, my relationship with my husband. My husband is gold. I raised gold. My
Hmm.
son just got married a year ago, and I said to his wife on her wedding day, and she said something like, "Oh, I can't wait to spend my husband's money." I
Oh.
said, "Girl, you a gold digger too?" And we high five.
My wife my wife might have asked her to square up. But continue. Continue, please.
But no, I love that
Yeah.
because here's the thing, Jay. I I raised a person that someone saw gold in.
Hmm.
I didn't raise somebody that somebody got to get bail money for.
For sure.
I didn't raise somebody that they got to give them the keys to their car and drop them off at work so they can drop them off at work so they can drive and go sit back on the couch. I didn't raise that.
Agreed. Agreed.
I raised a professional ball player.
And where's he playing at? Where's he living at over?
So
Please.
he's living in Dubai.
Ooh.
So he's living in Dubai. Like that's who I raised. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that my mama was a gold digger, I'm a gold digger, my son married a gold digger. We got a legacy of gold diggers, not clay makers. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Not people that are picking up sand, but gold diggers. And
Yeah.
I wear that badge proudly.
Yeah. That's fair. But it could potentially from somebody who doesn't know you, right?
Mhm.
Could say, okay, well, your daughter-in-law, and I'm not saying this about her, but somebody who's
Mhm.
a gold digger is only here for your money. What you can provide for them financially, take care of me, is what it comes off as. And I know that's not you because I know how hard you work because we've had conversations before.
Mhm.
So is that correct or am I off?
So I don't think you're off. I believe that, oh, I do believe you're off. Let me say this. I do
Okay,
believe you're off. I believe that those people are called opportunists.
got it. So there's a difference there.
There's definitely a
Okay,
difference.
very good.
They're opportunists, but for a woman to be like, I can't wait to spend my husband's money, that means he got some. He got some. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and so even outside of that, though, that he can take care of her and he can provide for her.
Hmm.
They're not going into it 50-50,
Okay.
I got real
Go ahead. No,
problems.
no, say it. Just say it. It's okay. No, go ahead. Because we're gonna have a conversation about this. But continue, please.
I just I don't get that concept. I
Okay.
just don't. I don't get the concept of 50-50 in splitting. When I say inside of marriage, I ain't talking about if you dating.
For
Don't
sure.
come for me in the comments. um I'm not talking about in dating. I'm talking about in marriage.
Sure.
In marriage, there is something to be said, and I've seen it way too many times. When you grow up where I grew up, again, I didn't grow up in the hood, okay? But where I grew up, you saw a lot of two-parent households, and you saw a stay-at-home mom and a dad that went out to work. There was no 50-50 there,
Okay.
okay?
Yep.
And then when people say, well, do you know about inflation? Do you know the cost of stuff now? And da 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 da. Yeah, but do you also understand the amount of information it is out there for you to be able to obtain more money than our parents were able to obtain?
That's a
Don't
fact.
talk to me about that.
That's a fact. Now, what I will say about that, Shaggy, is
Mm-hmm.
I talk to people. Obviously, I do, budgets and stuff like that. Now, I did a workshop one time, and there was a woman whose
Mm-hmm.
husband had passed away, and the husband pretty much did everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the only pushback I'll say for that is if the husband does everything and then he passes away, it kind of leaves the wife at a disadvantage because they've been taken care of, or financially the husband's been paying all the bills and doing all the things, and they're left like, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
Even if they do get a bunch of money, they still don't know how to handle it because they were not handling the finances together.
Yeah. And nobody's saying for them not to handle the finances together.
Okay, you're
I'm
just saying
just
the pain.
suggesting that she doesn't need to bring half of her money to the table and he brings half of the money to the table because, well, I got the light bill. We first get together. I'm going to pay for the light bill and then I'm going to pay for the financing of the
Yeah.
washer and dryer. And then, you go ahead and pay this cable bill over here.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
No,
the
no,
part
I
that's
agree with that. Like, so for me, like, I think that there was a fear with my wife and I, right? Like, we split bills when we first came along into our marriage because that's what was comfortable for us, and
mm,
that's what we saw. So she's used to doing one thing, I'm used to doing another. Like, okay, cool, I'll take care of this. I'll take care of the mortgage. You take care of this, and this, and this. I'm taking care of more than you are. But it worked. And then I'm
mm,
like, you know what? I think we need to combine our finances. Now, not to say that it's 50-50, it's we're bringing everything together.
mm,
And then you get your stuff as far as you're spending money and all the things that you need to maintain yourself and gas and whatever. And then I'll get mine and so forth and so on. But we're bringing everything together. Now, if somebody makes more than the other, no problem. It's ours.
mhm.
So how do you feel about that? You know, I can tell by your face. Fix your face, Shaky.
I mean, if it works for you, right? I mean,
Yes.
if that works for you, I love that for you all, right?
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, if your wife opted to no longer work,
Yes.
then what?
Very good question. That's a very, very good question. So, we are working towards that now. So she has a side business as well, and she's an author, and she's now putting together a catalog for other authors to sell their books out of this catalog.
Hmm.
So it's pretty dope what she's doing, and I applaud her. So that's what she's trying to do, like trying to eventually walk away, kind of like what I'm trying to do. We have real
Mhm.
estate together. We're doing stock market stuff together, and we're building something together.
Mhm.
So if one or both pop off, we can roll and
Yeah.
continue in our entrepreneurial journey. So to answer your question, that's for us. Now that might not be everybody's story, but that's what
Mhm.
we're building.
Mhm. I I feel like, and I could be debated all day long on this.
Yeah,
I
for
really,
sure.
this is just my opinion.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm just old school in this way, just because I know it's possible.
Yeah,
There are men right now, including my husband, that are like, take your little money, and I make good money.
yeah.
I
Oh, we
make
know.
good
Oh, we know.
money. Like, he's like, take your money. I don't want no parts of it.
Hmm.
My money goes into my account.
Yeah,
So I create my own bills too. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
Um, when I went to Dubai in February, I went there because I'm studying for my securities license, right? And so
Hmm.
I just needed to be on a completely different time zone so that because when I'm here, I'm always working. I'm always working. So let me get on a different time zone as my clients and the rest of the world. And so I could focus. Well, while I was there, I got with a realtor there, and I was like, you know what? Let me just see what the scene is like,
Hmm.
right? And so I told her what I was possibly looking for. I'm looking for an investment, whatever, blah, 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 woo, woo. So I go and I found it immediately. Immediately, I was like, I want it. Let me buy it. Okay. What do you need? This is how much you need. All right, bet. Da, 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 da. Okay, cool. The very next week, we go and we close on it. We, meaning me with the realtor. Okay.
Okay. And we're not just gonna
Oh,
breeze past you buying a house in Dubai, like you just go out there to work and then you just find. We're not breezing past that, Shaggy. We're not doing that, yo.
but I'm telling a story. I'm telling a
Okay,
story. I'm
all right,
telling a
okay,
story.
we'll come back to it. Good.
But my whole purpose of saying that was, oh, honey, by the way, this is what I just finished doing. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying?
sure,
Because I had my own money. Now, this property isn't just for me, it's for us.
sure,
It's for us. And so it's not one of those things where just because I have my money in a separate account doesn't mean that also I don't also do something that contributes to the building of the legacy of the Websters.
for
You know
sure.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just means that my money doesn't determine whether or not we exist or not, whether or not we eat, whether or not we have a roof over our head, whether or not we get to go out and, have nice meals and, stuff like that. My money isn't contingent on that.
yeah, yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. And some people are able to do that and some people aren't. But I know what I was looking for. I was very intentional,
Yeah.
very, very intentional. Because when I married my husband, I married him knowing this man gonna take care of me. This man is
Because
going
that's
to
what you
take care.
guys agreed. That's what you agreed to.
Hmm.
That's perfect. That's
Hmm.
good.
And so at the end of the day, um, a lot of women end up getting with men that because you weren't focused on what you really wanted. I was very clear about who I wanted to be.
Yeah,
I was very clear on what I wanted to have. I was very clear on what I wanted to do.
yeah,
And anybody that came across my path that didn't line up with that, nah, you ain't it.
yeah, yeah. And that's beautiful, man. And I think clarity is huge in any facet of your life on your way, on whatever journey you're on, whether it's to build wealth or find a husband, find a spouse, find a wife, whatever the case may be, like having that clarity, because then you know exactly what you don't want. Like, nah, I don't want that. This is what I want over here. So if that person doesn't check the boxes, that's look at you, man. Look at you adding value to this podcast here.
But you hilarious. But also, I'm gonna tell you, there's something that my mother said because I want some of the women, especially the single women that might be watching this podcast, is this cut the learning curve, cut it. And what I mean by that is there was something my mother said to me, and it was so good. I didn't understand it at the time, but now that as I got older, I clearly understood it. She said, "I better not see you just dating one man." Early on, she was like, "I don't want to see you just dating one boy." Never
Okay.
did. Never did. Here's the reason why. Because as soon when you date just one person, you go all in for that person. You
Sure.
locked and loaded. You
Hmm.
locked and loaded. You got so many emotions attached to them. So many, oh my God, I love him. I love him. I didn't get a chance to fall in love with nobody. I had a mixture
Hmm.
of, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you act up, all right, you gone. I got one in the pocket. I, I was able to quickly be able to dismiss what wasn't right.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what I actually wanted. I thought I wanted one of them ball players because my son is a ball player.
Yeah.
Somebody could when I met my husband, he was wearing Vans. he never heard rap music before. I'm like, you know, Tupac. He was like, who? Like, so, but it was like he was everything I needed, though.
Yeah.
Everything I needed, and nothing that I thought I wanted.
Yeah.
I thought I wanted the cool cat, but then if I ended up with the cool cat, I'm gonna be walking around in the daytime with a flashlight. Like, where you
Uh-huh.
at? Where
Where
you
you
at?
yep. Yep. And I've never met your husband, and I told you this before, and I really mean this. I got to meet this man because anybody who is able to tolerate somebody such as yourself has to be a very, very special man, very special
Thank
man. And I got to
you.
meet this guy. I feel like he don't pay you no mind. Like you be with the shenanigans, he don't pay you no mind. I knew it. I knew it.
That's a
Never met
whole
the man a
fact.
day in my life, but you need that. You need that balance, though. You
Yes,
need that. Yeah. One,
that's a
one
whole.
last thing I one last thing I wanted to say about the financial piece that we were just talking about, but as far as husbands and wives go, I think, and I mentioned it earlier in the on the call about pride will kill you.
Yes.
The piece that hurt me and or almost hurt me was there was a pride aspect of when my wife and I didn't have our finances combined because I used to have in my head when we got into an argument, disagreement, I make my own money. I make good money. I don't need you. In my head, never said it,
Mm-hmm.
but that's
Mm-hmm.
was going on in my head, and that was like, yo, putting your finances together is going to stop all of the pride thoughts because now your stuff is together. You're working together as a team, and you we I talked about before what we were able to accomplish
Yep.
when we got our stuff together, and I know you don't agree with the house and all that stuff, but we'll talk about that later. But that aspect of it, I think when we get into things, we don't think about those things, but that right there helped me completely because it took the pride off the table because now it's ours instead of it's mine. I don't need you. Yes, I
Mm.
do. I do need you.
Mm.
Go. You got some thoughts. I see it.
I feel like that may have been an answer for you, but I think for some other people that would not have done anything because in their mind, it's real funny how we get when we do math in our head, we
Mhm.
actually think we got more than we do.
Facts. That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like oh, I should have a ton of money in the bank. It's like,
No, you
bruh,
don't.
no,
Yeah.
you don't. No, you don't. Um, but I think what sometimes could happen is that pride would seep up and
Yep.
say, oh, she need me.
Hmm.
She needs me because this is what I bring to the table. And you start
Sure.
counting your little checks. You don't think about taxes. You don't think about, all of the other stuff that she does on the other side. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You don't think all of that together. So pride still has an opportunity to seep in.
Oh, for sure.
But what I wanted to say about that though is this. I want us to start going into marriage, and this is one of the things that me and my husband did early on, is that he had an assignment to fulfill.
Mm,
And so we got into it for an assignment. And so real estate.
mhm.
Uh, Assignment is a real estate term. It is a real estate term. Okay. Now let me break this down for you. Now, when you're talking about going into when you look at property, right?
Mhm.
Have you ever looked at an investment property and said, you know what? That thing is so cute. Oh my God, it's so cute. It has a great personality. It makes me laugh. I love the way this building makes me feel.
Nope.
Have you ever invested in something like that?
Never.
Never, never. Marriage and relationships are the biggest investments you are ever going to make.
That's a fact.
It's the biggest investment. So why are we choosing that investment based off of, oh, he's so cute. Oh, I love the way he make me laugh.
Yeah.
When you go into the relationship, what is the return on investment? What is it that I'm looking to get out of this? Because it can't be about love, because that's fleeting. Us as humans, we don't know how to do it the right way.
Facts.
We just don't. We don't know how to do it the godly way.
Yeah.
We got too much of us in here. We got
Mm-hmm.
a whole lot of God, but it's also a lot of us in it.
That's a fact.
So because of that, when love is fleeting, so if Trey, let me ask you this. If
Mm-hmm.
I said to you, I'm going to give you $1 million,
Mm-hmm.
okay? I'm going to give you $1 million, but all you have to do is sit in that seat for the next 3 years. You cannot move. You cannot move. You got to sit in that seat for the next 3 years. Okay.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
I'll go get that million another way.
You'll
Not
go get that
happening.
million another way. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me change the example then. Let me change the example. What if the example was, what if I give you $30 million? I give you $30 million. Okay. But you just have to stand. Let me see. Let me see. What do you have to do? What do you have to do? Again, you got to sit in that chair. You can go use the bathroom and come back to the chair. $30 million.
I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I'm
You
not
don't
gonna
think
lie
you
to you.
do?
I
You don't think? I'm gonna tell you, most people,
mm-hmm.
they'll at least attempt it. They'll at least attempt it.
Yeah. I'll be
But
miserable. I will be miserable doing that. So it's not really worth the money
it's
to
not
do
worth
that.
the money.
It's not.
That's good. That's good. You know what? Nobody's debated me in that way. Nobody's debated me in that way. So this is interesting, Che, because it's not proving my point. My but my
And that's why we having this exchange. That's good.
exactly, because it's not proving my point. My point to it is that him and I had an assignment, he had an assignment.
Mhm.
When I tell you the assignment that he had, which was to take care of me and this son that I brought into this relationship that he
Mhm.
took on as his own. And when I tell you he killed his assignment, he killed it, knocked
Yes.
it out the park.
Yes.
I could
Yes.
not have asked for anything better. And so the assignment that he had, he completed the assignment.
Mhm.
And so when our son finally went off to college and then he went off to, be grown and out the house or whatever, we had to create a new assignment. We had to figure out, okay, now what's next for us? What do
Yeah.
we build on now? What do we create now? And for us, it's the assignment that has kept us together because the assignment is bigger than us.
Yep.
The assignment is bigger than us. It's not just it's not the love necessarily because we have plenty of love for each other, but it's also the overall assignment.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's way more than love. And I want to take this time to give a shout out to all the stepdads out there. My dad left my mom when I was 2. My mom remarried when I was 5. My stepdad took care of me, showed me what to do, what not to do. We had a bad relationship, then we had a great relationship. But he taught me how to be a man at the end of the day. And he didn't have to do that. But I attribute a lot of the wisdom, a lot of the things that I don't do, a lot of the things that I do to that man that decided to take care of a child that did not belong to him.
Yeah.
So shout out to your husband. shout out to my dad. He's no longer with us, but he handled his assignment and he did an excellent job at it. So I just wanted to take that
Mhm.
time. Yeah. Um, this has been a great conversation so far. We're not even
Right.
into it yet. We're
Exactly.
not even into it yet. Um, so Shaky, you said that you help people find their perfect sir through stocks,
Yep.
insurance, and real estate. How did you get into the insurance business to be able to encompass the perfect sir method?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So spoiler alert. Because when I told my story earlier, I was like, yeah, I'm on this search for the perfect sir, and sir had to be this and sir had to be that. Well, sir was actually my stocks and my insurance and my real estate. Um, well, what ended up happening was my father had came into some money and he was retiring from the phone company and he had given us a considerable amount of money. Okay. And so my husband and I, we started investing in real estate. And so, and then, I also got some stocks. I had a nice little brokerage account
Mhm.
and, stuff like that. Right. So, we said, let's go to Atlanta. Let's visit Atlanta. And we ultimately said we wanted to invest there. And
Mhm.
so we go to Atlanta and shoot, you can buy property for like $3,000 at that time. So, you know how people are like, I'll buy the block. We like, shoot, let's buy this whole neighborhood. We'll take one of them, one of them, what I'm saying? Like all of it, right?
Yeah.
And so now we have this real estate portfolio. We have $5 million worth of real estate, okay, a real estate portfolio,
Mhm.
and we're doing good. We're doing good. We end up moving to Georgia and we buy this big 5,000 square foot house with 7 bedrooms, 5.5 baths. Now, mind you, we only got one child. It's just like why, right? But anyway, it is what it
That's what
is.
you wanted.
This is what we wanted. This is
Yeah.
what we wanted. Okay.
Yeah.
So we were young, and so we were in our early 30s. And
Mhm.
so here we are just living life, just living life. And 2008 happens. Okay. Now, 2008, I mean, okay, that's when we got our first black president, but that's not what affected my money.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, because uh this mortgage crisis, okay, or the housing bubble bursting was
Mhm.
already happening before he got into office. So
Yep.
just for anybody that's kind of young and don't know exactly what happened during that time. But this was looming, okay? It was coming up, but in our minds, we're like, this isn't gonna affect us because we got plenty of money in the bank.
Yeah.
Plus we got all of this real estate. We're good. I got my stocks, I got my real estate, good.
Yeah.
Okay. When that thing crashed, I mean, I don't even know how it happened. It was almost like we blinked and everything was gone. It just went so quick. Like one went, another went. I mean, it was just we couldn't keep up with it. And so we basically were selling things off, like short selling and stuff like that,
Mhm.
just so that we can keep this house that we lived in. Dumb. You
Wow.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the first place, because we like, well, we need a roof over our head and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we end up losing it all, including the house. And so I ended up having to cash out all of my stocks so that we can use it as a down payment to go live in an apartment. Oh, clutch my
Wow.
pearls.
Wow.
So now I'm selling my stocks at low,
Hmm. Oh yeah.
way
2008. It
lower
was it
than
was it was bad.
it was bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I no longer have this portfolio anymore because it's gone because I need it. And then I found myself um digging through trash cans looking for newspaper clippings just so I could buy a can of tuna for a nickel. That's how bad it got.
Crazy.
That's how bad it got. My husband didn't have a job anymore. And so now he's sitting up here, saying, looking at me like, honey, you're gonna need to get a job. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Because you told me what you said to me was I didn't ever have to work no job. That's what you told me. This is what you said. This is what you said. Um, but I knew he was right. It
Yeah.
was the time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna let us sleep underneath a bridge because of something he said earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I don't want that discomfort.
Facts.
And so anyway, I go and I apply for a job. The only thing that was really available during that time was customer service jobs. Okay.
Mhm.
And especially for somebody like me, I was just an investor. I shouldn't say just an investor, but what's a job for an investor?
Yeah.
Especially during that time. What's a job for an investor? So I go in there. I already knew that they were gonna offer me the position because clearly I could have owned the place, you know, a year previously.
Yep.
So the lady, she ends up offering me the position just like I knew she was. And so she walks me out the door. We're in this hallway. And I said, "Oh, by the way, how much will I be getting paid?" And so she was like, $10.25 an hour.
Bro.
So so literally it felt like somebody gut punched me.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine going from a place where you could do whatever you wanted to do? Nobody, you weren't exchanging time for money at all.
Hmm.
To now somebody saying that every hour of my life is worth $10 and a quarter.
When you put it like that, that sounds crazy. You're wow.
But is that not what happens?
That's exactly what happens.
The value that you have placed as an hourly wage on my life is $10.25. And at the end of the day, it actually wasn't a full $10.25. It was actually $7.38 after taxes.
Mm.
How does one live? How does
Especially when
one?
you were coming from living the way you was living.
So, okay, but it was what it was. I'm taking one for the home team, because you got to do it.
Hmm.
Because from my conversation earlier, right? I am in no way suggesting that a woman should have all of this money sitting in another account and she doesn't help the family when the family needs help.
For sure.
Nobody's suggesting that, and that's foolish for somebody to think that that's what I'm suggesting.
Correct.
But what I'm suggesting from earlier is that I don't want us as women to make it so comfortable for our men to just be average.
That's
That's
fair.
what I'm suggesting.
That's fair.
Is that if you bring half to the table and you set this very comfortable lifestyle for him when he literally has greatness and more to be able to come out of him, but you're supporting a lifestyle that's comfortable for him, sis, you might be out of order. Because there can be a whole God inside of him that can be a billionaire, but because of the fact that you want to put your little money in the pot just so things could be good, y'all sitting up there, comfortable. You got a finished basement and you got a pool, and that's about it.
Well, I feel like you're talking about me right now, Shay. Don't do
Oh no,
that.
I'm not talking about
Don't,
you.
don't,
I'm
don't
not
please
talking
don't
about
do that.
you.
I feel like
I'm not talking
I
about
feel like you're
you.
talking to
I'm
me
not talking about
specifically.
you. It's a whole lot of people with a finished basement and a pool. I'm just saying.
Okay. Okay. I'm because you said you wouldn't talk about me. I'm gonna let that slide.
Exactly. But okay, so back to my story, how I got into this, right? So here I am, I'm working this job, right? And so this guy that I used to network with, he says to me, he says, hey, I want you to come to this hotel meeting that we're having, okay? And so I was like, no, I'm not interested. I'm good because I don't want to hear about no opportunities because I ain't got no money. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? What am I here opportunity for? And so I don't want no Tupperware. I don't need no essential oils. I don't need no Avon. I don't need nothing. Okay. So So I kept rejecting him, kept rejecting him. And so finally he kept asking, and I said, okay, fine, I'll go. I go to his little funky hotel meeting. I make sure to sit in the back right by the door so that when they do what I call the altar call, when they start really dropping what we here for, I
Mm-hmm.
can just dip out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, I found myself sitting in my seat, and instead of leaving, I'm leaning in because the man in the front of the room, he's talking about how you can use life insurance to protect your wealth, how you can use life insurance to grow your wealth, how you can use life insurance to leverage your wealth. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm holding on to my chair, trying not to scream because what this man is talking about, had I had what he was talking about, I wouldn't have found myself where I was.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so I go up to the guy at the end and I said, listen here, whatever you selling, I'm buying. I ain't got a whole lot of money, but I need to buy it. Okay. Because I
Mm-hmm.
know I need it. I said, but I also need the ability to share with other people. That started my journey 15 years ago.
Wow.
15 years ago on this journey. And since then, and so it's so funny because a lot of people are like, well, they're doing a lot of talk about cash value life insurance policies and whole life IULs and stuff like that. Bro, I'm not new to this. I own 6 of these policies. 3 of them are 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Yep.
already know what they do. I know how they perform. I'm not new on the scene to this. So that's how I got into this industry.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What is the biggest misconception about the life insurance like IULs and stuff like that? Like you hear bad stuff about them, but you can hear bad stuff about anything. I understand that.
Sure.
But you've been doing it and it's obviously been working for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's the biggest misconception about insurance?
That it's a get rich quick scheme. So there's a lot of influencers out here that are turning this product or these products into something that they're not. And so when they get in front of me, they're like, wait a minute, but I thought you could, flip it and you could do it and you could bro, whatever your unlicensed uh influencer just said in a 60-second clip ain't what it is. You know what I'm
Okay. Yep.
saying?
Yep.
So that's one of the biggest misconceptions. But another misconception is that it's actually better than what you think it is. It's better than what you think it is. So I know I said I'm kind of talking out of two sides of my mouth, but it's not a get rich quick scheme, but it's amazing for long-term strategy.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Just like any
amazing.
investment, like you're investing in long term. Is if you're trying to get in it and get any invest, I'm not talking just talking about insurance. Like this
Mhm.
has to do with real estate, stock market, anything you invest in. If you're investing for a long term, if you have that long term thinking, then
Yep.
you will by default probably be wealthy
Yep.
at some point.
Yep. 100%.
Okay.
100%.
So misconception. You know that and I was not gonna bring this up, but I'm gonna bring it up anyway since we just you my peoples. Uh, you I'm a Dave Ramsey guy. That's my
Yes.
guy. You
Yes,
know that.
that's your
That's my
guy.
guy. Only because the methods that he taught helped
Mhm.
me to get to where I am today.
Mhm.
And I may not be where somebody who has life insurance and all that stuff is, but I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, what is your beef with Dave?
So my beef with Dave is this. My beef with Dave is this. Is because it's not that I necessarily have a beef with him. I just think that he keeps us very average and safe.
Okay.
That's all. Very average and safe. I feel like the strategies that he teaches, I don't think that he necessarily does himself, but I can't prove that. I can't prove that. And perhaps he can because he makes so much money telling people to stay average.
Okay.
He makes millions
Oh
of
yeah,
dollars
a ton.
teaching people to be average. And so yeah, maybe he can actually do his principles and pay for cash for his house. Because I was just in Tennessee, what was that, 2 months ago, and my mentor lives in the same neighborhood as him, and so he drove me by his house and next to the house that he's building. So he's building another bigger house. So I guess another slew of churches have come in and bought all his products. Um, I, I'm just saying. So, so he's building an even bigger, grander house
Hmm.
next to the house he already has. But he hasn't taken on any more additional kids or nothing like that. So but certainly,
You can, but my thing is, you can't be mad at somebody who's trying to teach you how to control your money. Because if I'm sure you know a lot of people who are living average lives. They make a ton of money,
yes,
but they're living average lives because their spending is out of control.
yes.
So if you can teach people how to have their spending under control, and once they get it under control, take that money and invest it, you can't be mad at that.
I, I
You can, but
I'm not mad at it. It's just that can we have a part two? You know what I'm saying?
sure,
Can we graduate from it? You know what I'm
sure,
saying? Versus a revamped book on the same stuff you keep teaching. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
can
that's
can
fair.
we have the strategies evolve? That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. My rebuttal to that is if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's, that's just me. That's just me. That's just me. We'll move on. We'll move on.
Let me say this. Let me
Go
say
ahead.
this.
Go. Okay. I knew you weren't gonna be able to.
Because
Go ahead.
leverage is the language of the wealthy. Okay.
It's one of them. Go ahead. Continue.
All I know is if you don't know how to speak it fluently, uh,
I'm messing with you now. It
uh,
is. It is.
it
I'm messing
might
with
it might be a little difficult, you know what I'm
you. Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Um, to make something, but I don't think he's heavy on teaching leverage. And so debt allows us to actually leverage. And so I'm a big fan of Robert Kiyosaki. I'm a huge fan of Robert
Yep.
Kiyosaki.
Yep.
Robert Kiyosaki, he is big on leveraging debt.
Hmm.
Debt is his favorite instrument
Hmm.
to use. And he talks about all the time that he doesn't pay off anything. He just
Sure.
continues to leverage it. And the man is $1 billion. He probably has twice the net worth of a Dave Ramsey.
I can't say that. I can't say that. Now,
It's
what I will
Googleable.
say is this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You continue.
No, I was saying it's Googleable.
Okay. Now, with with okay, let's just talk about our people, right?
Okay. Mhm.
Um, I feel like we as a people want to be wealthy, right? And I think that we don't necessarily know how to get there, but I feel like the one of the best ways to be able to be wealthy is to know where your money is going. And
100%.
and if you're over leveraged, then there's a potential that the 2008 thing that happened, it just didn't happen with you. It happened with a bunch of other people as well.
Yes.
But if you're over leveraged, then that could potentially happen again to
Yes.
you or anybody.
Yep.
So I think that leveraging is good if you have a handle on it. But once you see it working one time, then you'll have a tendency to want to do it again, and then again, and then again, and then 2008 happens potentially. And that's my only rebuttal of the leverage, because I don't think, like, even with credit cards, you don't know how many people I talk to, and I'm sure you talk to them as well, that have um they have they want to pay the credit card off. They have I'm gonna pay the credit off. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna buy this TV. It's $500. I'm gonna pay it off before the end of the month comes, whatever. But then the end of the month comes, and then something else happens. But they're over leveraged because they spent $500 on this TV that they probably didn't need, and they swiped, and then now they're paying $500 plus 20% of whatever their American Express or Discover, whatever's charging them interest charges, and that's how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
You have all
Mm-hmm.
the intentions. The intentions. That's what I was looking for. You have all the
Mm-hmm.
intentions in the world of paying the thing off or paying the money back, and it just doesn't happen because something comes up.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we get in trouble. And that's my only thing about leverage and all the things. Like, if you can handle it, because I use credit cards, so I don't want anybody to think I don't. I use credit cards as well. But before the end of that month comes, that credit card is paid.
100%.
But everybody doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get in trouble.
And I don't disagree with not a word you said. It does come with discipline.
For
It does
sure.
come with discipline. But once you become a disciplined person, what's my next step? What's
That's
my
fantastic.
next step? And that's not being taught. And so my target audience is not necessarily those people. My target audience is high net worth individuals. They've learned the discipline. So if I only studied Dave Ramsey, I could not be a help to high net worth individuals, because their question to me is, what happens next?
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
What do I do now with my money?
Yeah.
Very good question, ma'am. Very good question, sir. I got some stuff for you. So, yeah, it's just, both you and I, we've talked about how we both paid off our house,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I remember when me and my husband, we paid off our house and we high-fived each other, we chest bumped each other, we like, woo, party, right? And then a year later, we regretted it.
Because of the
We
taxes.
we completely regret it because of taxes. Taxes was a friend of ours. It was a friend of ours. Not only taxes, shoot, I got about 8 different reasons why. Why paying that house off was the wrong move to make. We were putting $52,000 a year into paying off this house. If we took that same $52,000 and put it into an income producing asset, because your home is not an income producing asset.
But it does appreciate, though. It's not. You're right.
Tell the people in 2008 about their house appreciate.
No. I'm just saying. Like, if I look at what I paid for the house, or what we paid for the house in 2016 when we bought it, and what it's worth now, way different. So I'm not saying it's an income producing asset, because it's not, but it does appreciate.
Maybe.
Oh no, well mine does. I don't know about anybody else's.
Right. But no, Shay, this is what I'm saying to you though. It's still a maybe, because my parents, when they purchased their house
Mm-hmm.
in 2003, in 2008, in 2007, the house was worth something like $323,000 back then. My parents has a really beautiful house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
2008, by 2009, that house was worth $175,000.
That's crazy.
So what I'm saying to you is maybe, because real estate, while it's a great investment, I have real estate. I'm a domestic and international investor at this point. So I
Talk
believe
that talk.
in real estate.
Talk that talk.
But what I'm saying is that while it typically has a rate of return, it's not a guaranteed rate of return
Sure. That's fair.
because you can lose in real estate. It is an investment. The reason why you can't call an insurance product an investment is because you're assuming that you can lose, and you can't lose money in a life insurance contract. That's the reason why we don't call it an investment. It's not an investment. It's life insurance. And so with that, with your money now being inside, my money was literally locked up in these four walls. And I had to, the only way I could get it is on the bank's terms, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted money out of my house that I just put into it, I have to have the perfect credit score. I have to make sure that we have income to support the money that we pull out of it. Wait, why? It's my money.
True.
So now I've allowed a bank to set the terms for me to be able to get my own money. That doesn't make sense to me. So that's another reason why. Another reason is when I actually had the mortgage and had the debt, that debt was a inflation, was basically inflation insurance. So for example, when we purchased our house, our mortgage was $1,400. Okay, it was $1,400. We had a 30-year mortgage. In year 28, okay, in year 28, whatever year that's going to be, inflation would have increased if it stays on pace, okay? If it stays on pace and goes up anywhere from like 1.8 to 3% every single year, how much is my mortgage still going to be at year 28?
The same, 1,400.
1,400. 1,400. Anybody that is purchasing a home in year 28, do you think they're going to be able to buy my same house and mortgage it for $1,400?
Nope.
They won't.
Not at all. Not at all.
It was just $1,400. The amount of money that we make, we can't throw $1,400 at it so that we could take this $52,000 and put it in a life insurance contract, put some of it in insurance, and put another bulk of it somewhere in another income producing asset, buy a business, do whatever. So instead of us chipping away or paying down this mortgage, now we just sitting being basic because we can't get to our money.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, I guess it's household specific, man. But my thought is at year 28, even if you had, let's just say you had a 4% interest rate, you paid so much interest on that house. If it was 300 grand, just the interest alone is insane. Like, I remember looking at
Your
my mortgage
amortization
statement. My
statement?
mortgage statement. What's that?
Your amortization statement?
Yeah. Well, no, I was looking at my mortgage statement,
Oh,
and
okay.
I was just looking at how much interest I paid versus what the principal amount I paid or we paid. I'm sorry, not me, that we paid on the mortgage, and it was insane the amount of interest you pay. So that didn't make me feel good at all. Like I'm making this bank rich by continuing, I'm gonna say your words, staying basic and not paying extra on my mortgage. And then once we put enough principal down, like extra principal, then we saw it flip. Now the amount of principal payment that we're making just on a regular payment is we're paying more on the principal than we are on the interest. So and I know we could probably debate this all day. I get it.
It's
But
actually not a debate. It's not a debate. It's just like you said earlier, it's household specific.
facts.
But one thing I can tell you is the math doesn't lie. So when you do the math though, that amortized mortgage that you have, okay, and how it does, you're right. You're going to pay a lot of interest over time. You're
Sure.
100% right. However, what you can do with that money to be able to flip it, diversify it, that interest means nothing. It will mean nothing.
If the investment does well, because it could be like 2008, you invest in the stock market.
Oh, now you want to embrace 2008.
No, I'm just no, I'm just we going back and forth right now. That's all I'm saying. Like I'm using your thing. That's all I'm saying. Like it, but you're absolutely right. I get what you're saying, and I just to me like you said, the math doesn't lie, right? So like say you pay just throwing out the numbers. Just say you pay $10,000 in interest or $10,000 in interest for the year. You can't write that whole $10,000 off. It's a portion of it that you can write off. And I'm not a tax person,
Neither am
but
I.
to my knowledge, you can't write the whole 10 grand off. You can write a portion of it off. So does it make sense to pay 10,000 to maybe write off three? I don't know. I don't know about the complete math, but I'm just saying, like, do you want to understand what I'm saying though? Like you're paying 10,000 into your mortgage,
Right.
interest and all that stuff, and you said it's a
Mm-hmm.
write off, which it is,
Mm-hmm.
but you're paying more into the thing just to write off a little bit of it because you're not able
But
to write off the whole thing that you paid into your mortgage.
I
It's only a
want to
piece of it.
say, I want to say, and like you said, neither one of us are tax professionals, right? But let's assume you can't pay it all off. Okay. I
Mhm.
mean, not pay it all off,
Write
but
it
write
off.
it all off.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I believe you can. I believe you
I
can write off 100%, but I
I
don't
don't think.
know.
Okay,
I
but put
don't
it
know.
if you know better than we do, put it in the comments and then we'll know better. That we'll
Yes,
just do that. Okay.
exactly. Okay. But even that case, again, the math still doesn't lie because if you have those same funds being diversified into, you can put them in fixed strategies, okay, where you're getting a fixed rate of 6%. That right there is going to hedge a percentage of it,
For
right?
sure.
We're putting our money different places. So yeah, it could be someplace where it could possibly lose, and you got a portion of that money someplace that's tucked away safe, that's going to give you a guaranteed amount of 6% year over year compounded. Over 30 years, you're going to end up netting more in the diversification of your funds than you paying down this mortgage. It's just the math.
That's fair. That's fair. And you are out here moving. I saw a and I want to make sure that I mention this that you had more agents in your business for the month of May. Was that?
Yes. So for the
Clap it up.
month
Let's
of
go.
May, clap
Let's go.
it up.
Let's
Yes,
go. Let's
good.
go.
Um,
Talk about
so
that.
So my offer is this, is that so I'm an agency owner. I became an agency owner back in February, I believe it was February, March. Okay. I became an agency owner. And at that point, I was like, okay, let me build this thing. Okay. Because I've always envisioned my dreams are always about. I had a business coach, and she was like, well, how much money do you want to make? Like, what's your ultimate goal? And it was I was like, I want to help 100 people earn six figures. Like, that's like, to say that I helped 100 people, like them earning six figures. Now we know that a million is like the new minimum wage, but still, if I help people that have never made six figures before be
Mhm.
able to make six figures passively, do you know what that does for my legacy? Do you know what that does for my ego? I know
For
that's
sure.
ego. Some of
For
it is
sure.
ego, but my name would literally be in the mouths of 100 different families that I helped to change. And so I turned on this thing, and I was like, I'm a builder. I'm a builder. The only way that I can affect these people is I need to give them an opportunity that allows them to actually make that kind of money. And so that opportunity, I knew what opportunity I had. I knew what the kind of money I made in within this opportunity. So I just went on a rampage. And I was like, I started sharing with people, listen, I can help you get your license in 2 weeks. I can help get you into this industry that more millionaires have been made in than any other industry. I can show you the path to success and also along the way help you just learn about money. Just learn about money. And if nothing else, if you don't even want this as a main profession, consider just being a referral partner. I mean, everybody all around us, wait, maybe they don't. Can I tell you a secret?
For sure.
Okay. Don't tell nobody.
All right, I got you.
But we're all going to die one day.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Okay? We're all going to die one day. The reason why I say that's a secret, because it seems like we walking around here acting like it is the biggest secret. Like we don't know that this is going to happen. We're all just temporary beings here, right? We're on borrowed time.
Facts.
And so because of that, there's not one person that doesn't need what I am offering. And so, as a referral partner, I'm like, hey, listen here. If you refer somebody to me, because I do good work, if you're going to refer somebody to me, you might as well get paid half the commission. Because I have a state license, at most, I think I can give you like $100 for a referral. I mean, shoot, I made $40,000 just off of one deal. That's off of one case. Now, if we split that, let's just say you referred that person to me and we split that, bro, what would you? That's some good money.
Yeah.
Just for a referral. And so I went on a rampage of helping 45 people get their license, and so that's what I'm doing. That's and in the process of it, teaching them about money, being a part of the financial matchmaker brand where we're out here on a movement. We're out here making sure that people like myself, people like you, that we're making sure that we're hedging the people's wealth in our community. Remember, I said I had the stocks, I had the real estate, but I was successful but unbalanced. There's something that Warren Buffett says all the time. One of his quotes is, during times of a recession, you'll see who's out here skinny dipping.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Over leveraged. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we were butt booty naked. So it was one of those things like, okay, let's help the family. Let's help the family. Because I feel like every single household should have a financial professional inside of their family. And
Agreed.
if you don't have one, you're probably that person.
Agreed.
Because not everybody gets the opportunity to sit down with someone like me, that gets to sit down with someone like you.
Yeah.
I think we take for granted, which I think is interesting, because you got to look at this, even when it comes to Christ, right? And us being evangelists. There are still people that knock on doors telling people about Jesus Christ. We assume that everybody knows about how good he is. We assume that.
True that.
But not everybody does. So we still got to tell people. We can't assume that everybody knows they need life insurance. We still got to have evangelists out here telling the family what they need to do. So that's why I got on that mission, and it really hit me hard. I'm real big on stories because I think stories do something to people. But my best girlfriend, her husband passed away in 2021, December, yes, Christmas Day, 2021.
Whiz.
He passed away from COVID. Can you imagine dying on Christmas Day? Like, oh my God, that's our favorite holiday. But anyway, but he left behind 4 children. Okay, they had 4 children, and lived in a nice, modest home and everything like that. They're a two income family. Um, I rolled my eyes because if we could get out of just being a two income family and live off of just one income, it's so possible. But anyway, I'm gonna go back to my story. Um, but they're a two income family, and so he had life insurance. The thing was that the life insurance didn't pay out. Again, they did everything right. Okay,
What?
life insurance did not pay out. The reason why the life insurance did not pay out is because there's something that's called a contestability clause. Okay. And what the contestability basically says is the insurance company has 2 years to make sure that what you put on this application is absolutely true. Now, if you put something on the application that isn't true and they don't find it out for 2 years, then whew, you're in the clear.
Hmm.
Okay. You're in the clear. But if you happen to pass away during that 2 years, and whatever you might have put on there, maybe he did it, unknowingly. We don't know. I don't know, but I think that it was something like high blood pressure. He said he didn't have high blood pressure, and then he ends up passing away of COVID, and they put on there something about high blood pressure. Aha!
Oh,
Gotcha.
wow.
Gotcha. So they didn't pay out. Now, what they did though, they sent her a nice check with the premiums. Okay, so the premiums that he paid, you can have that back. She can't live off of premiums.
What? So he basically got out what he put in. No
That's it.
interest,
No
no
interest,
growth. That's crazy.
nothing. That's
They
it.
foul
That's
for
what
that.
she ended up with. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, but here's the thing. What I realized was when my girlfriend, when she called me from the hospital, letting me know that he passed away. In that moment, I can't sell her a life insurance policy. A life insurance policy does her no good.
Mhm.
She's like, Shaky, I don't know what I'm gonna do. The mortgage is due is gonna be due next month. Then it's gonna be due the month after that and the month after that. We got these cars, we got these kids. What do I do? I'm gonna offer her IUL? No.
Hmm.
But what I could offer her was an opportunity. I said, sis, why don't you go get this license? I'm gonna teach you how to make money in this business. Because I don't want to take money out of your pocket. I want to put money in your pocket. She went, she got that license. She makes an extra $1,000 a month. She doesn't do nothing big. She got a full-time job. This isn't necessarily her passion, but as people come randomly or whatever, she just throws them my way and she, makes the extra payment that she needs to be able to pay her mortgage. That's what this
That's
license
dope.
does for you.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
this
dope.
license does for you. So those are the stories that I tell, and that's what I help people do is empower themselves with education and also with a state license that you could use as an ATM card.
That's
So
what's up. And this is my last question because it kind of ties in. So you helped 45 people become agents. Is that right? That's
yes,
dope. So you're well on your way to having that 100 people. So my question to you is where do you see or where is Shakey Webster and Mr. Webster uh in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in this business, or are you on the beach somewhere in Dubai chilling? Where are we at? What are we doing?
man, in 5 years, that's a good question. That's a good question. In 5 years, I definitely see 1,000 agents. I see 1,000 agents, and I see me in the business more so as still the face of the business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I leave July 7th to go move to Dubai.
Are you
And
moving out there?
well, let me say this, I'll be there till March. So
Talk heavy.
uh, I'll be there January, March, something like that, because I'm expecting my first grandbaby. And I want to make
Congratulations, by the way.
thank you so
Let's
much.
go.
I want to make sure that that grandbaby knows me. And I gotta also make sure it ain't funny looking. You know what I'm saying? I gotta round out the hair, the pink
Yo, even your
nose,
grandbaby can get it. That's crazy.
you know.
That's crazy.
It's like I gotta be there for that. But yes, so and then also while I'm out there, getting my investment together, and then also acquiring more. Um and so in 5 years, this thing is so big. I think it would be out of my control at this point. I envision myself being an influencer
Mhm.
for sure, in this space.
In that, oh, I'm so glad you said that. Because you had said something the other day. Are you ready for this influencer life or to something to that effect? So my question to you is, are you ready for that? Because some
Uh,
people think that they are ready. They want the $1 million, they want to be a millionaire, but a lot of people are not prepared for the work that it takes. But you are putting in the work to get to where you're saying that you want to be. So I see that.
mhm.
But once you get there, do you feel like you're ready for that?
I can say I'm getting ready for it.
Okay.
I'm getting ready. Something happened to me the other day, and it scared me. And I'm gonna have to let her know that, because she may watch this podcast. But there's something she said to me the other day. She said, "I saw you speak before, and I had to come on your birthday bash." Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I had this birthday
Mm-hmm.
bash, and it was
I
a
was
whole.
there.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
So, she said that when I came to your birthday bash, I, she said that I hope she was selling something, because whatever she was selling, I was going to buy it. She
Mm,
said I had no idea what you were going to sell. So she said when you dropped your offer, I bought it immediately. And she said, "Oh, okay. Auntie Shakey said we selling insurance. I guess we selling insurance."
mm,
What that did for me, she said, from the first time I saw you, I knew I wanted to be like you. And it scared me. It scared me. I'm going to tell you why. Because it's this thing of being put up here on this
yeah.
pedestal.
Yep.
Because when you're this high, the fall hits so hard. It
Yeah.
sits so hard. And so now in my mind, I'm like, how do I not fall? How do I stay up here for her?
Yeah.
And anybody else that looks at me like that? How do I stay up here, if not get even higher? And so now I have to agonize over my systems. I got to agonize over this and that. So now I'm in my business, not focusing on what I really need to focus on, but I'm focusing on this person's concern over here. When
Yeah.
if I just be me, I'll be fine.
Facts. Facts.
I'll be fine. So I think that's what made me ask that question in the first place, when I think I texted to you or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, because she had just said that to me. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that, because I don't know if I'm ready for the him 500 stage or the David Shands, stage and stuff like that, because I don't like people talking about me.
Yeah.
While I say I don't care, you do.
Okay. Yeah. A little bit. A
You
little bit.
do. I
Yeah.
don't want to be dragged on the internet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
but I'm getting ready.
That's what's up. Shaky, this has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. You have been a gracious guest, and I appreciate you being on Wealth is a Journey podcast. I will make sure to put your information in the description, so People can see how to follow you at Aunty Shakey on Instagram.
Hmm.
And Shakey's out here moving. She is out here moving. So if you want to connect with her, I will make sure I put her information in there, or you can just follow her on Instagram and DM her. You can do that too.
You can do that
So
too.
so thank you so much again for being on this Wealth is a Journey podcast. This conversation has been super dope. And everything that I thought regarding your husband, I knew it. I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I knew it. I knew it. So tell your husband I said hello, and I cannot wait to meet that man. I can't. But again, hopefully everybody got some good nuggets from this podcast episode on our way to the M's, because again, we are getting to the M's. Wealth is a journey. We will see you next week.